Guys, welcome back to my channel and for my From Blood and Ash reading vlog. I just wanted to put a little disclaimer here that from here on out there's gonna be a lot of spoilers. I will have a wrap-up without spoilers on my February wrap-up next week, so if you want to reach that one, I'll make a link so you can go from there. But today is gonna be full of spoilers because it's my reading vlog and I just want to talk about it. So you have been warned. Thank you so much for watching me, and want to hear everything about it? Just keep watching. So not only was I not able to get my lipstick from Ulta, Barnes & Noble didn't have the book I wanted either. I consoled myself by getting two other books I was planning to get later, which is fine. I mean, I was always going to get them. They did ask me if I want a membership to Barnes & Noble's, and I thought about it because $25 for the whole year and then 10% forever. Well, not forever, but for the year, which isn't that bad. And then I'm like, will I buy $25 worth of stuff for the whole year? Because I actually tend to buy more from like used bookstores and stuff like that more than I do from like Barnes & Noble's or like Amazon or anything like that. So I'm like, conundrum. So anyways, I didn't buy it today, but it's something for me to think about. But yeah, I did end up with two books just because I thought it'd be nice just to have something, because otherwise I just made this trip and came home empty-handed, I guess. But yeah, for every half book I end up reading, 2 or 3 books end up on my pile, so I'll never run out. I have a little meme thing that I saw where it was like, you don't run out, you don't have too many books, you just don't have enough storage. Also, I'm wearing this big ass jacket because it was really cold yesterday and I thought it would be cold today, and then I'd be walking around outside instead of at home with a blanket, and it turns out it's warm today, so I was like, why did I wear this thing? So it was really a drag to read the first 100 pages. I really liked the scene with the Red Tavern just because it was more about like the sexual chemistry. But then once Hawk really appeared, that's when I was like, yes, this is what I wanted. Oh my gosh. And like I started marking the parts that I like because I'm like, damn, this guy is hot. I have a feeling there's gonna be another like alternate character. I feel like there's always love triangles in the stories I read. But I mean, the action's good. And there's a set of mystery about it. But because I've gotten to the part where he's actively protecting her, Hawk is, it's getting a lot faster just because that's the parts I like versus like the parts where like they're explaining what Ascension is, you know, and like all the Ascended and who the Duke is and things like that. I was kind of like, come on, give me the meat of the story. Hi everyone, don't mind my gamer girl makeup. I did it for my Twitch stream because I just wanted to try something different and do different makeup, and I saw this one on TikTok and I really liked it, so I wanted to try it. Nothing I would wear public, but I thought it'd be cute just to wear. I wanted to a little update. I'm about a third of the way through. I think I could breeze through this thing. I'm learning a lot more about myself in that I really don't like a lot of world building, and that is a me issue and not like author issue. Like, I was confused on the Ascension and Cravens and like Atlanteas, and I was just like, what? And like, instead of just like slowing down and like reading it, I was just like, let's just push forward. Because I was like, I just want to get to the action, you know, the meat. So that's why it like took me a while like to pick up and put down. Like I picked it up, read 2 pages and put it back down. But once I got to Hawk, like I got through like 50 pages like that. And I was like, damn, I want to get back to him. Like, he sounds really cool. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be more than one male character too. So I'm just like trying to get there. But so far it is very intriguing to me. Another crazy thing is that I'm realizing, I think that it is like a vampire story. I'm not 100% sure, but I noticed they're talking about biting and blood, which is usually a vampire, which is really crazy because you guys know I love vampire stories. But I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. It could be like a wolf, or it could be like something other magical that I'm not. But you know, I'm pretty sure it's a vampire. So I'll update you guys when I get to that point. I'll let you know if I'm disappointed or really, really excited. Back here, my mom told me to get the chicken. I'm suspicious. It's like getting lost round 2. Oh my God, potatoes! It really grinds my gears when a main heroine always holds it in. Like, like when she's in trouble, like how Poppy is getting abused by the Duke and she doesn't say anything and she doesn't want to tell even Victor, like her closest confidant, because, you know, she doesn't want to worry him or something like that. And I get that some people are like that. I'm not one of those people. I do tell people because I'm just like, hey, this is what's going on. I know you can't help me, but at least maybe we can figure out something together or whatever it is. And I get that some heroines are going to be like that. But why is it that every time I read one and it's supposed to be like a really strong female character, she holds it in instead of saying it? I feel like a lot of writers kind of put that in there to be like, oh, she's so strong. She just wants to figure it out on her own, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, I feel like I can't relate to them because I feel like different people than me, we have a different personality. Like, okay, well, I can never be Poppy then because, you know, I would tell Victor and be like, hey, yeah, I was getting cane. It really did hurt, blah, blah, blah. You know, I know you can't do anything about it, but at least you know what's going on. So it I don't know. I feel like it detracts for me personally. Maybe other people feel like it the same. They're like, oh yeah, she's somebody I could look up to. Maybe that's what the goal is. But it bothers me a lot. I have markers in here for everything cute that Hawk says. Like super cute. Okay, so for me, my love of this book kind of went like a thing. It was like slow, and then there was a part in the brothel and it went like that, and then it went slow again, and then Hawk appeared and it was just like this. Okay, so let's start. There's a lot of world building. I'm not sure if this is this is not low fantasy, mid fantasy or high fantasy or whatever, but it had to explain a lot with the Ascension. I didn't even understand what the Ascension was for 200 pages. Like, I didn't understand. I even tried to look it up. No one explained anything. And I was like, what the frick? Like, I was just so confused. And, like, I would even read back. But then because I'm not really into, like, super fantasy, it was kind of like I would go back and, like, get bored. It took me... I would read 10 pages at a time. Like, I would read 10 pages on Monday. Then I would read 10 pages on Wednesday, you know what I mean? Like, just because it was slow, but I wanted to get through it. And it almost got to the point where I almost gave up and said, you know what, I don't think I can do this anymore. Because after the brothel scene, it got to be boring again, in my opinion, where I was just like, I didn't hate The Cruel Prince, but I liked it, but not enough to like finish the series full on YouTube, and Book Talk didn't tell me anything. So I thought maybe this is it. I was like, okay, maybe it's good for a lot of people, just not for me, and I'm just more into really, really low fantasy. But I already had the sequel. So I was like, oh, okay, let me just keep trying. Like, I try to at least get halfway, you know, especially since I am a low fantasy lover. I was like, okay, well, maybe they're just still world building. The book is about a girl named Penelope who is a maiden, which means that she is untouched until her 19th birthday when she ascends. Okay, and then in the back it doesn't really explain a lot, which is why I got a little bit confused. It just said that she has a person, Hawk, and I even forgot actually at this point. So when I even heard of him, I was like, who is this guy? And then it like jotted in my memory. It says Hawk is a bodyguard. I'm like, okay, whatever. And then because it took me so long to read it, I completely forgot. So when Hawk met her in the brothel, because she just wanted to experience life, she wasn't trying to be a prostitute. She was just like, oh, I'm gonna go and, you know, play cards and gamble and drink a little bit just for fun, like until my 19. And then I was like, I thought ascending was even like being sacrificed because I was so confused, you know. And then Hawk appeared, and then I thought that was really, really cool. And then, like, you know, he like flirted with her heavily, and I was like, ooh, this is nice. And then she didn't come back because obviously that was really bad because she's the maiden, etc. And it didn't come, like, the action didn't come back, and I was like, what's going on? But then I pushed forward because I was like, well, if the banter is like this, I think I just have to wait, because I'm only at that point where I still didn't get any action. It was only like this punch in, and I was like, oh my gosh. So finally, Hawk appears, and then he's her bodyguard. Well, you could tell just because I read so many stories like this. I was like, oh my gosh, okay, he's here. And then it was just, the banter was so good. I was like, yes, I really, really, really like this book. You know, because obviously he's her bodyguard. She is beat by the Duke, which makes no sense to me why he beats her. I was like, maybe it's because he was secretly in love with her or something, I'm not sure. But then when he died, he was murdered and like during the right party, and then the cane was in his body. I was like, oh, Yes. And then I was like, did Hawk do it? Because also would use the cane. It was too much on the nose for symbolism. Then I was like, that doesn't make any sense. Because it said from blood and ash and they talked about blood-sucking creatures, I was like, hey, is it a vampire story? They talked about how the vampires there were crazy. So I was like, okay, it is a vampire story, but it's not like a really like lovey one like Twilight or something like that. It's or like Vampire Academy or something. It's more like these vampire people are crazy. So I was like, okay, that's fine. And then you know, so when after that happens and she has to go towards, Poppy has to go back to the capital for her protection, I was like, okay, this is where it's gonna get interesting. Her bodyguards, they basically have no people. She's not gonna have to wear this big veil where no one can see her face anymore. And then they're flirting heavily on the horse, and I was like, this is like a 5 out of 5 book, like 5 out of 5. And they get to the town or something like that, and then obviously they do it because why wouldn't they? And a lot of people said that this book had a lot of good smut. Decent. Thought it was like pretty tame. I was like, oh yeah, like I love that they don't fade the black. Great. But was it like super smut? No. I think a 16-year-old could read it. It's fine. There's some out there that I've read where I'm just like, I'm not even sure I'm allowed to read it. Yeah, and then one of her guards who's protecting her was like, I think Hawk is gonna betray us, things like that. And I was just like, oh crap. Is this a plot twist? What's going on? And then they duel in the barn, and then all of a sudden one of the guards turns into a wolf, and I was like, whoa, there's fucking werewolves in here. And then the Hawk turns into a vampire who's not bloodthirsty, by the way. And I was like, this book's even better. I didn't even know this would happen. And like, if I could give a book 7 stars out of 5, I would. I was even telling my best friend, my friend Camille actually asked me, she's like, what's your favorite vampire book? That's all you read. I didn't know this was a vampire book. I just read it because everyone recommended it as a good like romance fantasy. But yeah, so then I thought about it and I was like, well, it used to be Crave, but then, you know, it's not that I hated Crush. It's that things just changed so much for me that it made me not happy with the direction it's going. It does come out on Tuesday though, so my review will appear on Wednesday or Thursday, so it should be okay. Well, and then I started talking about this book and I was like, oh, actually, if I'm already halfway through the second one, by the way. That's the reason why it took me so long. I'm supposed to do this video on Thursday, but I'm doing it today because I had finished, yesterday was Thursday, I had finished the book at 5 yesterday and I was so tired that I woke up late, obviously, because I went to sleep so late. And then I started reading the second one because I needed to know what happened because it ended on a cliffhanger, and I hate books that end off cliffhangers. But I wasn't super mad just because I already had the second book in my head. And it's funny because it's not an enemies to lovers, it's a friends to lovers to enemies, probably back to lovers now. I highly recommend this book if you guys like romance fantasy and paranormal fantasy. I know this was a reading vlog. It was more like discussions between little snippets of what I do. And I hope you guys enjoyed it. I can't wait to discuss number 2, and number 3 comes out in April, which I already pre-ordered, so I should have a full review of the series then. But I think it's crazy how when she figures out he is an Atlantean, which is like a very superior vampire, that he tells her the real story, which is she's not really a maiden. It's the fact that she is part Atlantean and they want to use her blood to create more vampires that are crazy ascended. And her whole world is turned upside down, and it just shows like how when you are raised in a certain perception, like you just believe it because why else would you not? And then so when it's turned on its head, she doesn't believe him at first, and then she realizes how some things don't make sense. Why are the 3rd and 4th sons sacrificed and never seen again? And it turns out it's just because they're being eaten, and that really sucks. So there's still a lot. I feel like this, I mean, it's a good thing it is a series, but I like series where like you can actually it feels like the first and second one should have been together because it cuts off, you know what I mean? Like I want to say more about the book, but I can't because that's where it basically ended. She found out that her world is turned upside down. The guy who's her bodyguard, who she's starting to love, turns out to be a vampire, but vampires aren't that bad. It's just the Cravens who are, and they're vampires who were created just by accident because of too much bloodthirstiness, blah, blah. And there's more answers that are answered in the Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, but I'm not discussing that. I'm discussing this one. But like I said, I highly recommend it, especially for people who are low fantasy. Just get past the first 200 pages. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys. Bye.